Now, let's start. Nathan McSweeney will make his Test debut as an opener against India in Perth. He was named in Australia's 13-player squad for the first Test of the Border-Gavaskar series. You had dinner with the great man a few nights ago, Tim, and that was before the announcement, though, I believe. How would he be feeling?
Yes. Oh, I'm sure he's excited, Breno, but he's ready. There's no doubt about that. I think skill-wise, mentally, emotionally, whatever you want to call it, he is as ready to play Test cricket as anyone we've selected in the short-term sort of past. I think he is a complete player. I've spoken about it a few times. I think he's got a bit of Mike Hussey about him, Breno. I think he can bat anywhere in the order, and he is ready to play Test cricket. Full stop. Don't expect him to come in. I don't think he's like a natural, normal debutant who's going to come in and be overwhelmed and take time to build in. From what I've seen of him and the time I've spent with him, he is ready, not only ready for Test cricket, but he's ready to perform at that level, and he will step straight into that and start scoring runs, I reckon.
Very nice. Now, let's talk about the one-day series. Pakistan secured its first series win in Australia since 2002 after defeating the Aussies by 8 wickets in the third and final ODI in Perth yesterday. Per Fox Cricket's Nick Savage, it's the first time in history no Australian has scored a half-century in a bilateral men's ODI series. Pakistan bowled out Australia for a total of 140 yesterday and 163 on Friday. Tim, unpack it for us.
Not the series they would have wanted, Brent, no doubt about that. Even with the young team that they had selected, I think they would have thought that they could at the very least be highly competitive, if not still win that series. So that's the first thing. I don't think they've gone out thinking that this would be that result, even though we picked nowhere near our best team. I think it was a bit of a wake-up call. But at the same time, Brent, I think it's a team that's learning, it's a team that's developing. And the exposure they got to a high-level pace attack in challenging conditions, it has to be said, which I thought was fantastic. We've seen for too long really flat 50-over pitches because of 20-over cricket. It was good to see the MCG, Adelaide and Perth all had a little bit in it for the bowlers, and I think that's actually one of the key things to 50-over cricket surviving and thriving is that the bowlers have a chance. T20 cricket, we don't mind seeing the bowlers belted all around the park, but in 50-over cricket, you want to see more of a contest, and I thought the 3 wickets that series was played on were terrific, gave the fast bowlers a little bit, and that's all they needed. Pakistan ran away with a huge series victory, first one in 20-something years, but just pumped the brakes on the Aussie boys, Breno. That was 7 or 8 players out of their best 11 weren't in that team. It's like taking half a football side out and expecting to beat the Brisbane Lions.
Fair call.
It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
It's a great opportunity to develop and blood some talented young Aussies at international cricket. Now, did it go well? No, it didn't. But they'll learn a lot. They'll go back to state cricket during the Border-Gavaskar, or they'll go back to Big Bash, and they will be better players for the experience in the Big Bash and going into the future for Australia in white ball cricket. There were some highly talented youngsters that didn't come off. They didn't bat well enough. The senior players probably didn't have the impact that they would have liked, which would have made it easier for the young guys in the team, but just pump the brakes on the criticism of a young Australian side who were completely outplayed by a very good Pakistan side.
WBBL, Lizelle Lee and the Hurricanes returned to form in a huge way with a 72-run win over the Scorchers at the SCG yesterday. Lee posted the highest score in the WBBL's history with an unbeaten 150 at a strike rate of 200. She also scored the most sixes in a WBBL innings with 12. The Hurricanes finished with a total of 203 and later bowled the Scorchers out for just 131. Heather Graham took 3 wickets, taking her total to 12 for the season. I think that rockets us to second on the ladder too, Timmy. So that was a magnificent day out yesterday for the girls.
It was. It can happen quickly, Breno, can't you? You can go from down the bottom of the ladder, 1 good win or 2 good wins, and you shoot straight back up the top. Can I defend my cricket comments, Breno? I didn't know we were going to be rolling out the under-19s.
Oh. What? The under-19s?
We didn't have... That annoyed me. We'll get to this later on. Like people saying, I can't believe how bad the Australian cricket team is. Proper cricket commentators, world-class cricket commentators saying, I can't believe what I'm watching. This is the World Cup holders. No, it's not. The World Cup holders are sitting on the couch getting ready for a test series.
Yeah.
6 or 7 guys went in that team. Let's just pump the brakes on this. I can't believe we're seeing this performance from the world champions. We're blooding some youth to give them experience at international level whilst the big boys get ready for 2 hugely important series, one in Test cricket and one in white ball. Relax.
No, fair
It's
call.
okay.
Yep. Anyway, this question says, what does Paine make of the criticism of not selecting a traditional opener and the suggestion by some that if you want to play Test cricket, don't open at Shield level?
No, I don't agree with that comment, and I like the selection. I think Nathan McSweeney's batted at 3 for a number of years, and he's got the game to bat anywhere, like I said, in the top order. And it's also been what this selection and coaching panel have said all along. They want to pick who they believe are the best 6 batters in the country. When you're in those positions, that is their choice to do that, Breno. That's their opinion. That's what they're going to do. And they are the current World Test Championship holders. So you can't argue with what they've done.
The question was, though, Tim, do you, if you're playing Shield cricket...
I said I don't agree with that.
Right, okay.
And I like the selection. So, like him opening the batting, he's done it. And I don't agree with the second part of the question that you shouldn't open or you don't have to open because, let's be honest, if a specialist opener stood out in the last 6 months and grabbed it by the hands, they would be playing for Australia next week.
Okay.
They didn't.
Another question for you, Tim. In light of Brent's comments, regarding Craig Sword, please. Have you ever used, this is off the text, by the way, have you ever used negative comments to motivate yourself during your professional sporting career?
No, I haven't. I don't think. I wasn't a massive taker to heart of any comments, Brent, and I'm still not. And I'm even more so now. I've actually in this role, and I realise that post cricket, you've got to make some comments because it's what you're paid to do. So for me, I never took criticism of my cricket or my captaincy personally, just so it didn't worry me. Completely different story when we're talking about what's happening with the Jack Jumpers or has happened. But in terms of critiquing my performance as a player or a captain, never took it to heart, never had an issue.
Another one here from Dave. Where is Beau Webster in the list of hopefuls, Tim?
Test match hopefuls?
I'm assuming that means test match hopefuls.
He is, Brent, right there. That far away. I think
an injury away.
An injury to Mitchell Marsh away from making his test debut this summer. And I dare say, even given the form now of Aaron Hardy, he had a good series, Brent, in England, but he didn't have the best series in the last week or so. So I think Beau has gone ahead of him in red ball cricket and he's coming for him in white ball cricket. So if he can continue what he's done in the last 12 months for the next 2 or 3 months, I think we might be seeing Beau Webster in Australian colours in a format of the game. Probably closest to Test cricket. I think if Mitch Marsh was to go down with a sore ankle and they need that bowling and batter at number 6 who can counter punch, Beau Webster's the man.